Okay, my man, this is going to be a banger to kick off the main card. We got number 15, Song Yadong, the Kung Fu Monkey, who is a minus 135 favorite with a plus 115 comeback against Julio Arce, my man. And this is interesting to me because it feels like Song has gotten a lot of momentum after that big win over Casey Kenny on that pay-per-view just, earlier in the year, you know what I mean? As far as Arce, this is somebody who I feel like he's a UFC veteran, right? Like in my head, I'm like, okay, Arce, UFC vet, he's been doing all this good stuff, you know what I mean? Like he's established, people should know who he is. But when you look at his UFC record, he's only 4-2, so he only has 6 fights in the UFC. So if you think about it, you're like, well, this man hasn't really been here that long. The big caveat for this fight, AJ, is that aside from his last fight against Andre Ewell, he's notoriously been a 145er. You know, he's a featherweight who has moved down to bantamweight. So this is his second fight in his UFC bantamweight career. But it should be a fun one either way, my man. So I want to start off by saying this. I was super impressed by the Kung Fu Monkey, Song Yadong, in his last fight against Casey Kenny. Speed off the hook, combinations off the hook, pressure off the hook. But my question to you on this one, my man, is that Arce is a little bit of a different challenge for Yadong because I think he's probably going to be one of the most technical fighters that Yadong has fought in the UFC thus far. So you can have all of that speed, all of the combinations, but what's one thing that beats speed, AJ? Timing, right? And Arce has timing. What do you think about this matchup, my man? Do you think Arce is as technical as I'm making him out to be?
Yeah, Derek, I agree with you. You're saying technical. The word I wrote down is cerebral. This dude, literally, you can see him when he's fighting, he's making the reads. He's literally, you can see his brain working. A lot of the times we talk about when you're thinking in a fight, it's bad, or you need to be in that flow state. So that way, you're just reacting, not necessarily thinking. Arce is the other kind of fighter, the mental fighter, the guy who's able to break things down, see them coming, and set up those traps, set up that game plan, to get things going, dude. This dude, Arce, I also hold him as like what I would consider a veteran in the UFC. But like you said, not that many fights. And I think this is one of those fights that we're going to be able to see him kind of blossom into that guy, that crowd pleaser that everyone likes seeing. Because Song Yadong absolutely brings it, bro. Fighting out of, I believe it's Team Alpha Male. Yeah, fighting out of Team Alpha Male. This dude has very sharp striking, very good ground game, kind of has that confidence to go with everything. And then the momentum off of his last fight against Casey Kenny, man, this dude has everything you want in an opponent, so that way you can propel yourself even higher into the upper echelon of the division, man. I definitely agree. I think Julio Arce is a little more technical, a little more cerebral. He's going to be making those reads that Song Yadong has, even though I give Song basically the advantage on the striking, power, speed, kind of all there. It's going to be interesting to see who has the advantage on the ground. Who do you give that to, Derek?
It's going to be interesting because, like, one of the things that I wrote down for this one is that neither of these fighters really want to take it to the ground. If they're going to have it their way, it's going to be a technical, just kind of boxing match, you know. But for Song Yadong, I think he's a little more willing to sit and trade than Arce is. Arce is more of that technical, we're going to box with you. We're going to move. I'm going to take a step back. It's not going to be, first one who takes a step back is a bitch or nothing. It's not going to be one of those, man. It's going to be, let's be technical. Let's figure it out. We have 3 rounds. Let's work with all 3 of these rounds over here. And speaking of rounds, AJ, the over-under on this one is 2.5 rounds, minus 185 to go over, plus 155 for the under. What do you like on that one, over or under?
I like the under on that one, Derek.
Ooh, okay.
Me personally, I have this one at about 2 rounds as well.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of that 2 rounds, 2.5. That sounds perfect to me. I'm taking the under. Seems like when you get 2 of these dudes, Song throwing absolute heat and crazy power punches, then Julio Arce actually doing the technician, has those very nice counter shots. I think this one's going to go under. What about you?
Okay, I'm taking the over on this one, man. I think Arce is going to be a little too technical. He's not going to be there for Yadong to be able to land the big bomb on him. And I think Yadong is going to get hit with some big bombs by Arce. Arce has a really good crispy left cross and a right hook combo. But I think Yadong is going to be able to walk through him, man. He's tough. And bold prediction from you, as always, my man. Both of these fighters, in terms of being finished in their career, have only been finished once, but for both of them. So 2 combined between the 2. Yadong has only been knocked out once, never been submitted, and Arce has never been knocked out, only submitted once in his career. So it'd be interesting to see the under go happen. I mean, crazier things have happened in the UFC and MMA in general, but I like the over on this one. I think it's going to be technical. AJ, man, Song Yadong, he showed impeccable footwork as of late, right? Earlier in his career, he wasn't that guy. He was that, I'm going to walk forward and brawl with you. You know what I mean? I want to ask you, do you think that as he's getting a little bit older, this dude is super young, right? So he's kind of developing on the fly, right? This dude is only 23 years old. So as he gets a little more experience, more mature in his career, do you think he's saying, okay, I need to take a step back from the brawling ways and I need to kind of set up traps myself, use my footwork, get in and out, not get hit as much? He gets hit a little bit more than Arce, man. Yadong is kind of hittable, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to it, but he has a great granite chin. Do you see some of that evolution in his game?
I do, yeah, man. I do see a lot of that evolution. We saw kind of the bad part about that in the Kyler Phillips. He was just getting pieced up way too much, lost that unanimous decision. But I do think I credit a lot of that to the alpha male camp that he has behind him, because you really like those fighters who naturally embrace that chaos, embrace that dog. I'm gonna walk you down. I'm gonna swing for the fences, and then you teach them, okay, back off a little. Let's not let you get hit as much. Kind of that other way. Whereas you don't want the opposite. You don't want somebody who's scared to go in there and then have to teach him to be a dog. You either have that aspect or not, and Song does have that, but I am glad to see that he's able to get that footwork, that lateral movement going. He circles out very, very nicely. I like seeing that going forward. I credit a lot of it to his camp as well, because he is very, very young, so it's hard to learn that on your own when you're young. Absolutely. So like I said, alpha male's doing him well out there.
Absolutely. So what it comes down to in this matchup, AJ, is orthodox fighter in Song Yadong versus a southpaw in Arce. That means the body kick is going to be open all day. Watch the liver if your name is Song Yadong. But ultimately, my man, I think this is just going to be a very technical fight. Number 15 is Song Yadong, so Arce has a opportunity to jump into the rankings if he can get a win here. Ultimately, though, he is the underdog, so we're going to see how this one plays out. And when it comes lastly down to takedown defense, if this fight does hit the mat, Yadong has a 60% takedown defense and Arce with 93%, my man. So like I said, doesn't really like to get it to the mat too often. 3-1-1 is Yadong in his last 5. 3-2 is Julio Arce. Someone's got to kind of get back to their winning ways. We'll see who it is. AJ, who do you have in this one and why?
Yeah, man, I think this one's going to be a standing and trading battle. I'm very excited for this one. I don't really picture either of these fighters taking a shot, so I think we're in it for a lot of fun on this one. But me personally, Derek, I'm going Song Yadong, and I said it before, I'm going round 2 with a KO finish, man. Okay. KO finish for Song Yadong. I think it's going to be crazy, but don't get me wrong, I think Arce can also get it done. A little more technical, but I'm rocking with the KO power. What about you, Derek?
You know what, man? I think I'm going to have to go underdog on this one. I'm rolling with Arce, and the reason why is because I'm taking just kind of a bet on him being a little more technical is going to be his key to victory, the same way that Yadong, I believe he was an underdog against Casey Kenny, and what did we see? Casey Kenny needed to sit down on his shots, and Yadong was just too fast. He was able to hit him with the big combos after. I think it's going to be something similar to that effect, except you're not going to be faster than Song Yadong. That's not going to happen. However, like I said it up in the beginning, folks, timing beats speed, and I think Arce has timing, very cerebral, very smart fighter. So I'm going to rock with him. I'm rocking with the over 2.5 rounds. AJ's rolling with the under 2.5 rounds. KO round 2. So folks, take that for what it's worth. Enough said. We move on to the next one, my man.